jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se go Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Navadvip Mayapur Dham ki jai. Sri Jamunamai Gangamai Bhakti Devi Tulsi Devi ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premananda Haribo. All glories to some devotees. All glories to some devotees. All glories to some devotees. Jai Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 15, Text 44. The Pandavas retire timely. Udichim Parabhiveshasham Gata Purvam Mahatmabhihi Ridhi Brahma Param Jayan Navateta Yato Gataha Udichim Praviveshasham Gata Purvam Mahatmabhihi Ridhi Brahma Param Jayan Narvateta Yato Gataha Udichim Pravishesham Udichim Pravisheshasham Gatam Purvam Mahatmabhihi Ridhi Brahma Param Jayan Navarteta Yato Gataha Udichim Praviveshasham Gata Purvam Mahatmabhihi Ridhi Brahma Param Jayan Navarteta Yato Gataha Udichim Pravisheshasham Gata Purvam Mahatmabhi Ridhi Brahma Param Jayan Narvateta Yato Gataha Udichim Praviveshasham Gata Purvam Mahatmabhi Ridhi Brahma Param Jayam Narvateta Yato Gataha Udichim Pravisheshasham Gata Purvam Mahatmabhihi Ridhi Brahma Param Jayan Narvateta Yato Gataha Udichim Praviveshasham Gata Purvam Mahatmabhihi Ridhi Brahma Param Jayan Narvateta Yato Gataha. Mataji's. Udichim Praviveshasham Gata Purvam Mahatmabi Ridi Brahma Param Dayam Narvateta Yuto Gata Udichim Pravisheshasham Gata Purvam Mahatmabi Ridi Brahma Param Dhyayan Navarteta Yuto Gata Udichim, the northern side. Pravivesha Asham, those who wanted to enter there. Gata Purvam, the path accepted by his forefathers. Mahatmabi, by the broad-minded. Hridi, within the heart. Brahma, the supreme. Param, Godhead. Ayayan, Dhyayan, constantly thinking of. Naavarteta, past his days. Yata, wherever. Gata, went. Translation. He then started towards the north, treading the path accepted by his forefathers and great men, to devote himself completely to the thought of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he lived in that way wherever he went. Udichim praviveshasham, kata purvam mahatmabi, ridi brahma param dhyayan, navarteta yuto gataha. He then started towards the north, treading the path accepted by his forefathers and great men, to devote himself completely to the thought of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he lived in that way wherever he went. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. It is understood from this verse that Maharaj Yudhisthira followed in the footsteps of his forefathers and the great devotees of the Lord. We have discussed many times before that the system of Varnashram Dharma, as it was strictly followed by the inhabitants of the world, specifically by those who inhabited the Aryavarta province of the world, emphasizes the importance of leaving all household connections at a certain stage of life. The training and education was so imparted, and thus a respectable person like Maharaj Yudhisthira had to leave all family connection for self-realization and going back to Godhead. No king or respectable gentleman would continue family life till the end, because that was considered suicidal and against the interest of the perfection of human life. In order to be free from all family encumbrances and devote oneself 100% in the devotional service of Lord Krishna, this system is always recommended for everyone because it is the path of authority. The Lord instructs in the Bhagavad Gita 18:62 that one must become a devotee of the Lord at least at the last stage of one's life. A sincere soul of the Lord, like Maharaj Yudhisthira, must abide by this instruction of the Lord for his own interest. The specific words Brahma Param indicate Lord Sri Krishna. This is corroborated in Bhagavad Gita 10:13 by Arjuna, with reference to great authorities like Asita, Devala, Narada, and Vyas. Thus Maharaj Yudhisthira, while leaving home for the north, constantly remembered Lord Sri Krishna within himself, following in the footsteps of his forefathers, as well as the great devotees of all times. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chaksur unmilitam jena tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto his lotus feet. So herein, Maharaj Yudhisthira was following the Vedic Varnashram institution, Panchasordam Vanam Brajat, that at the age of 50, according to Varnashram system, Panchasordam Vanam Brajat, one should go to the Vana, one should go to the forest. I've said before that one time on a morning walk with Srila Prabhupada in Mayapur Dham, Srila Prabhupada asked Lokanath Swami, what are these berries here? And Lokanath Swami told Srila Prabhupada that they are such and such berries. Saintly people eat these berries and subsist on them. And Srila Prabhupada said, our devotees should learn to do like this. Eat berries, chant Hare Krishna, eat berries in the forest, and once in a week go to the village and beg for a few japanis. We were all stunned. We thought following the four regular principles is a big austerity, but at least eating luxurious prasadam was our sense gratification. But actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I think it was to Raghunath Das Thakur, how does that start in Bengali? Balana karibe ala balana kahibe. Do not speak like village people, like people in the village, nor hear what they have to say. Don't eat luxurious food, and what else? And don't dress very nicely. This is the instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Raghunath Das Thakur. Don't listen to village talks or talk amongst the village people. Don't eat luxuriously, eat very simple, and don't wear fancy clothes, expensive, nice clothing. This was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction. This is his mission. Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga, as renounced as possible. So here, Maharaj Yudhisthira, he's deciding to give up, as the forefathers and others, to give up his household attachment, his wife, sons. Someone's reading something, or is it upstairs? Oh, okay. Maybe it's a tape recorder. That these are the attachments of the material world. Matirna Krishna Partak Svitova Mito Vipajetu Grihavritanam Ato Grihak Chaitra Sitapta Vitair Janasya Mohoyam Ahamameti. That because one is attached to land, sons, wealth, wife, atogrihak, chaitra, sitapta, place of birth, sons and daughters. Janasya mohoyam. One is thinking, I am my body. This is the consciousness of one who is attached. Ultimately, I am my body. And whatever happens to the body, that's my happiness or distress. If the body's doing very well and mind's doing very well, oh, I'm very happy. But if the body and mind are not doing so well, I'm not happy at all. I'm distressed. I'm very distressed. This is not the mood of the Krishna conscious person. Because the Krishna conscious person is not attached to ato, grihak, chaitra, sitapta, vitayar, aham ameti, because the Krishna conscious person is in the consciousness of aham brahmasmi, jiver swarupoi nitya Krishna das. I'm spirit soul, and I am a servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because one is thinking like that, one's only suffering. Devotee is known as paradukkha dukhi. Srila Prabhupada was paradukkha dukhi. He's paradukkha dukhi. His only suffering is to see that others are suffering. And his happiness is to see others chanting, dancing, taking to Krishna consciousness. Seriously and sincerely, not frivolously. We don't chant frivolously or in a joking matter, but is very serious and sincere. Krishna is there. The Lord is there. Our spiritual master is there. So our happiness doesn't depend on those things which have a beginning and an end. Bhagavad Gita tells us that's not happiness. The senses are temporary. Dukhayalam ashashvatam. And the sense objects, they have a beginning and an end. They don't last forever. Therefore, the contact of the senses with the sense objects can never bring one true happiness. It's like rubbing two hands together to relieve an itch. It's just some temporary scratching. Srimad Bhagavatam states, but Krishna consciousness is such that our happiness is yayatma suprasidati, satisfaction of the soul, happiness of the soul. The senses may be going through so many changes. They may be engaged in different ways, but our true satisfaction is satisfaction of the soul. The mind may be thinking this, thinking that. So many things happen. We lost loved ones, we lost our fortune, we lost our so many things. But for Vaishnav, that is like the winter and summer. We lose the winter and the spring comes. And we lose the summer and the fall comes. Like the changing of the seasons, the mind goes through different changes. But for the Vaishnav, Maharaj Yudhisthira showed by example. Vacha Vegam, Manasakroda Vegam, Jiva Vegam, Udrapasta Vegam. The pushings, Vega. The word Vega means pushing. Sometimes when we were in Las Vegas, we would say Vacha Vegam, Manasakroda Vegam, Jiva Vegam, Udrapasta Las Vegas. The place of the pushings. Las Vegas is the place, of course, the material world. But I think they call that city Sin City because it's the place of all the pushings. So, Vacha Vegam, one has to control the pushings of the mind, of words. Vacha Vegam, Manasakro, anger, of Kroda Vegam. Jiva Vegam, tongue, Udrapasta Vegam, belly and genitals. One who does this, the Goswami stated, Nectar of Instruction states, he is a guru and can make disciples all over the world. But Maharaj Yudhisthira wanted to show by example not to stay in household life, not to join the seniors chat line. Nowadays, I don't know how I saw it. I did not open it, but I saw they have a thing called Meet Seniors chat line. I promise you, I didn't open it. I think it was in my, spam. That if you're over 60 or 70, this is a perfect chance to meet others, opposite sex or same sex. Also, over 60, 70, 80, 90 years old. This is our Western culture. This is materialistic culture. Vedic culture is such, so beautiful. First 25 years of one's life, one is a brahmachari. No connection. In our Krishna consciousness movement, first 25 years, brahmachari. Then at 25, one can go to the guru and has to be married. From 25 to 50, one lives in household life, begets children, lives very happily in household life, simply chanting and following regulative principles of freedom. Then, Panchaswardam Banam Brajet, at age 50, one's supposed to give up that household life. If he's with wife, can travel to holy places, go on pilgrimage, engage fully in devotional service, and 75 years of age to 100, one takes the sannyas ashram, giving up all connection and dedicating oneself fully, mind, body, and words. Tridandi Goswami, one who is dedicated mind, body, and words. Ihayasya hareryasya karmana manasagira nikilasu apyavastasu jivan mukta sauchate. The Vedic literature state that one who uses one's karmana, his activities, manasa, the mind, and gira, one's speech, only in Krishna consciousness. That person is known as a sadhu, a saintly person and is considered to be Jivan Mukta, liberated even while in this material world. If one can utilize all of one's karma, all of one's work, all of one's manasa, thoughts, and gira, all of one's speech for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Jivan Mukta Sauchate. That's a liberated soul. That's a Jivan Mukta. That's the stage that we are trying to engage in. Maharaj Yudhisthira was already at that stage, but he showed by his example, he headed to the north, to the, Srila Prabhupada described in one lecture that headed to the north means to the North Pole, to the snowy, cold area, to perform great austerities and penances. If we think that following the regulative principles of freedom, no meat, fish, and eggs, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit connection, is austere, there are more austerities. Vedic culture is full of blissful austerities. Following the Chaturmasya, coming up soon, I think it's this Friday, is the famous Pandava Nirjala Ekadasi. It's Thursday? Are you kidding me? My calendar says it's Friday. Have to talk to BBT workers, I guess. Thursday, Pandava Nirjala Ekadasi. Nirjala, no water even. On Ekadasi, we fast from grains and beans. I think when one sannyasi was here doing the editing, he made one mistake with the letter B. And on all the Ekadasis in that year in the calendar, BBT calendar, it said fasting from brains and beans. Huge mistake. We don't fast from brains. We utilize them in Krishna service always. But we fast from grains and beans. And on this Pandava Nirjala Ekadasi, if you can, is a fast that's nirjala. Not even drinking one drop of water. They say in the material world, and the Ayurvedic conclusion also, that if one refrains from eating especially certain foods, or eating completely and one fasts, that the organs of the body, even on the physical platform, rest and can rejuvenate. So this fasting, in many cultures of the world, fasting is recommended. Of course, in our Vedic culture, is highly recommended. That on Ekadasi, twice a month, one fasts. And on this Pandava Nirjala, if you can, no grains, no beans, no foodstuffs, no water. Nirjala. Jala means water. For 24 hours. For the non-devotees, I know my father, they have one holiday in the Judeo-Christian religion where you fast for one day to be written in the book of life. If you fast on this day, you'll be put in the book of life. That's the philosophy. So, of course, everyone wants to live. They fast on that day. Special holy day. Have a big feast in the evening, fast until the next evening, sundown to sundown. And I remember when I was young, I'd see my father and his friends. They were big fellows. And even some of the women, by 2, 3 in the afternoon, they were taking smelling salts. You could drink water. You just couldn't eat all your nonsense food. And for them, it was torture. It was unbelievable. Him and his friend, I remember, they actually bought smelling salts so they could stay awake and alive during their, it wasn't even a 24-hour fast. If you fast from the night to the night, you don't even start fasting till the morning. The morning is when you usually eat, so that begins your fast. And then you can eat that night, and you ate the night before. So it's not much of a fast. But in many traditions, even for bodily health, they recommend fasting. I know when I was in the hospital last year this time, and they wanted to perform some procedures. So before they perform a procedure, you can't drink anything or eat anything from the night till the time of the procedure, till they say you can eat again or even drink. Only you can take tiny sip of water to get the medicine that they give you down your throat. So for some reason, they kept prolonging the date of the procedure. Something was going wrong, either with them or with my external body. And I think it was for 6 days. I must have drank something. I think they have a, what do they call, IV. And they put the, what's that called that they keep in there? Saline drip. A saline drip. So they give you something. But otherwise, for days and days, I wasn't taking anything. And I was chanting and reading, and devotees were visiting. And I was feeling quite blissful. Even though there was no food or water. Of course, like I say, they were giving saline. The idea was that after so many days, they took the tests, and because all the organs were allowed to rest for so many days, even externally, even medically, physically, there is a great improvement in the numbers, in the heart rate, in the blood sugar rate, in the all of the different tests that they took. So sometimes they recommend that when a patient is sick, that you take fasting. So in this material world, everyone is more or less sick, crazy, and sick. Therefore, we have to fast. Don't eat the foods that the common people eat. Don't eat luxuriously. Srila Prabhupada, he ate. We had the cooks come and explain all the wonderful cooking, but there'd always be so many leftovers on Srila Prabhupada's plate because he ate rice and dal and chapati. He ate very simply most of the time, except for Krishna Janmashtami or some holiday, Radhastami, Ramnavami. Therefore, Vaishnav eats simply and is prepared to leave everything and go off into the forest. Of course, as Vaishnavas, we're worshiping Lord Krishna, our spiritual master, whatever condition we're in. Kiba vipra kiba nyasi sudra kena noi, ye Krishna tattva veda, se guru hoy. Whether one is a sannyasi, a householder, because they're engaged in Krishna consciousness, in devotional service, one can become guru, one can become highly advanced in spiritual life. But the system of the forefathers, and even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in his presence, there was a great kirtan leader named Chota Haridas, Junior Haridas. He used to chant so nicely, so serious and sincerely. But he was sent one time to go begging door to door, and he went to the house of Sikhi Mihiri's sister. What was her name? Madhavi? Madhavi Devi. And he looked at her with some lust in his mind. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, knowing this, finding out about this, banned Chota Haridas from the association of the Vaishnavas. Can you imagine? We would all be banned, every one of us. Can you imagine? I'm banned. I would have been banned from the day I came. I would have joined banned. And still been banned 45 years later. Every day, banned, banned, banned. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so strict and wanted to set an example that even the devotees were coming and begging. Nothing happened, Mahaprabhu. He was just going to get some rice for the Vaishnavas. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, no, he cannot come in my association. So Chota Haridas, he was so upset that he could no longer be in the association of Lord Chaitanya. That after 1 year had passed, he drowned himself in the confluence of the Ganga and the Jamuna, Ganga and Saraswati, in the rivers, where all the rivers meet, at Prayag? Prayag. At Prayag, and gave up his life. Even in our own Krishna consciousness movement, there was one sannyasi who was having some difficulty. And on a morning walk, he came to the front of the walk and asked Srila Prabhupada, just like Choda Haridas, if we can't follow, should we commit suicide? And Srila Prabhupada got very serious and said, oh yes. So this devotee went back into the crowd, because there'd be a morning walk, had 30, 40 people surrounding Srila Prabhupada, walking with Srila Prabhupada, mostly sannyasis, a few brahmacharis, GBC men, maybe some women. And when he fell all the way back, Srila Prabhupada said, but don't do it. Don't you do it. Because we're all fallen, and in this age of Kali, one isn't responsible for just for one's thoughts. If one acts on the thoughts, then one is responsible. But you don't get the karma, it's described, for just thinking. Of course, thinking leads to willing, and it's not good, but we would all be finished if we were responsible for our thoughts and had to give up our life for bad thoughts. Every time a bad thought came, this group would be outlawed by Western, by world law. So even after a year, because he couldn't get in the association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Choda Haridas took his life. But he would come after he had passed and sing kirtan sometimes for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this Krishna consciousness movement that was followed by Maharaj Yudhisthira is very easy. It's, what do they call? It's simple for the, it's easy for the simple, and it's very difficult for the crooked. So we should become simple. We should become simple so that this process is easy, that we're attracted. Srila Prabhupada never paid anyone to follow regular principles of freedom, to give up their Western life and live a life of a Vaishnavi. But we voluntarily accepted to come closer and closer to our spiritual master and Bhagavan Sri Krishna. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga.
So tomorrow is Ekadashi. Would we start the fast at sunrise, go to sunrise the next day, or would you start at like midnight and then go to midnight?
That's interesting. For devotee, the fasting, you don't have to do it. It's not mandatory.
No, I've always done it. I just haven't known when it's the actual time.
Very good. That's very good.
Well, it's totally good for my body. I feel
Oh, yeah.
flush, yeah.
No, I have one doctor.